I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk with folks from the VTuber community on their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. We welcome MatteLatteSan here. Hi.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm doing great. I appreciate you coming on. Please introduce yourself to everybody.
Hi, my name is MatteLatteSan. I like to stream when I have time off work and everything like that. It's kind of spotty here and there, but for the most part, I am a Lamia Naga VTuber. I am a interdimensional bartender. I like to just try to play what games I can with what little time I have available, and occasionally doing some video editing on stream as well.
So what type of games are you playing?
At the moment, Expedition 33. I like to play some shooters and stuff, so I've been playing like Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2 lately. I want to play more, but my computer sometimes can't handle it because I want to play Monster Hunter Wilds on stream, but my computer then goes, no, I don't feel like it.
Yeah. That seems like a game that would be just kind of perfect for streaming, but you better have the setup for it, or otherwise it's just going to be like playing a potato.
Yeah, one thing I hope to eventually have is a 2 PC setup, so that way I'll be able to play the game on one and stream on the other.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah, I have a hard enough time with one PC to try to mess with the two. We tried that at work, and I just shut the other computer off.
Yeah, that's one thing in my head I've been trying to figure out is like, how do I manage both without loading my work area? Because right now it's like I have one mouse, one keyboard. It's like, well, if I have a second one, doesn't that mean I need another mouse and another keyboard?
Oh yeah. You'll need to be, and then if you're doing that, and you have a controller that you need to use, how are you going to do that?
Oh, that's easy enough. It's just the controller will be plugged into the gaming one. That's all.
Yeah, I would have a situation where I need to have to constantly monitor with both hands, and it wouldn't be working quite as well. So when did you get started with this, or when and why?
Start streaming?
Yeah.
What is it? 2025? 3 years ago?
Yes.
Something like that.
I know how that feels. I don't know what year it is either.
Yeah, I've had big gaps between streaming and stuff like that because sometimes things happen and you just go, well, I don't have the energy or I don't have the time.
Oh, yeah.
So I've been kind of back and forth with that.
Mm-hmm.
The question was, how long have I been doing it? And then what was the other part of that question?
And why?
Why? Genuinely, because it's just something I've wanted to do for a long time. And once I moved out of my parents and stuff like that, I didn't have fear of like somebody breathing over my shoulder while I'm doing it. So then I was like, let's try it. Did it, enjoyed it, had a pretty decent startup at first, but because of all the gaps and everything like that, I've kind of had a stagnation where it's like there's not as many people, but I'm also not pulling in more because I'm either not streaming enough or I'm not able to create properly, I guess. Because it's not as easy as it sounds. It's like, oh, you just do that. Oh, if you just do that, then people aren't interested.
That's interesting. Just create. Is it a question of creating an atmosphere around your stream, or the little extras, or what?
The extras per se, because it's like I haven't really been making visuals for schedules and stuff like that. I have one now, but I also haven't been uploading it regularly like I should have. And then for other creation stuff, it's like, well, what is the content I want to make? For the most part, it's just kind of me gaming, and I want to chat with people, but I'm one of those people who's not very good at speaking into the void. However, you start talking with me and I don't shut up.
Yeah, it's one of those things. If you're a gabber and you're gabbing to yourself, then you get tired of your voice pretty quickly. I know I do.
What? It doesn't even feel like that to me. It's just trying to hold a conversation with myself.
Yeah,
is not particularly easy. But the instant somebody even just puts something in front of me, I can start talking and talking and talking and talking. Because even one of my most recent streams, I don't have a lot of people particularly active in my streams, but I had one guy come in from somebody else's that I know, and they were just talking. And then I started talking, and then we bounced from one topic to another. It was funny because it was going from Binding of Isaac to God of War, which I went to go play then after that. And then after that, it was like talking about the Twitch requirements to be able to play certain things, like what wouldn't be allowed. And I was just like, that was an interesting train of thought we went down there.
Yeah, but once you get that sort of thing going, it'll keep you in. You get a good conversation.
It's easier to keep it going. Yeah.
Yeah. And then all you need is just that kind of little, somebody to reflect off of a little bit, and it does make a big difference. When you're in the stream and you're playing the game, is it easy for you to, when you got people in chat, is it easy for you to keep chat involved?
When they're there, yes. I have most of my friends do lurking in mine, so they don't speak too much in it. But when I do get those occasional chatters that come in and start like just conversing with me, even shortly, even briefly, it helps me immensely keep the like motion going. The momentum is there after I start. It's like the pickup start. That's the hardest part.
Yeah, it's bringing them in first, but once they're there. Once they're there, you got them.
Pretty much, yeah.
So, have you got some plans for this, or to try and up things up, or is it just a question of time right now?
I want to, but the hard part is trying to balance out the full-time job I have with this, while also trying to create like something interesting and whatnot.
Yeah.
I would love to dedicate more time to it, but then if I do that, I feel like I never have time outside for myself. So it's this hard thing of trying to balance some things here and there.
Yeah, we'll just give you another 12 hours in the day.
So, yeah, please. Let me just make it to where I don't have to sleep. Give me that extra 8-hour period where I'm supposed to be out, and I'm just like, yes, please give me that. Let me use it, please.
Oh no, I already did that when I was younger. Paying for it now. That's when you just when you're younger, you can go, the 16-hour shifts and things like that, no problem.
Oh God.
Yeah, you add 2 times.
I can't even do that. I can't even do that right now. I don't like the idea of doing those kinds of shifts. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
No, if it's something like that, no. But if it's something I like, there was a stream, I think about a month ago, or not a month ago, like a year ago or something like that. I went until 3 a.m. and I started at, I want to say it was like 6. That was a
9 hours.
long stream.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was a really, and I worked the next day. And I was like awake, and I was like, I'll go a little bit longer. It's only going to go to 11. I'll be able to manage that. I got to get up early, but it'll be fine. And then the next thing I know, I look and it's 12, and I'm like, no, I'm going to make a decision, and it might be a bad decision, but I'm going to do it anyway. And I then proceeded to stay up till like 3 a.m., get 2 hours of sleep, and go into work the next day.
No, sounds like a good decision to me.
No, it worked. That was an enjoyable stream.
But what were you playing that kept you that long?
It wasn't what I was playing. It was the fact that I had somebody there the entire time. I was talking to like 3 or 4 different people.
Oh, well, that makes all the difference in the world, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, it really does. When you start to have that community feeling, or sitting around the campfire,
it keeps
type
the
thing,
energy.
Yeah, it does.
It keeps the energy there. Yep.
Yeah, it certainly does. And so if you're able to get this going and get some more people regularly coming back to the streams, or are you willing to put in more time, or is it just a question of?
I definitely would if I could get. If you can get the endorphins and the serotonin and everything like that, it definitely makes you want to do it more, because I definitely have autism, funny enough. So my brain doesn't function as everyone else's does.
Right.
I very much have a problem of, if I don't get joy from it, it's harder for me to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah.
But when you do have that joy from it, it's like it never stops.
Yeah, it's once you tap into that vein, the vein stays, but if you hit it and it's dry, then that's that.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah, you hit the gold vein, and then you take all the gold, and then it's like, well, there's nothing left here.
Yeah, and you had to move on to something else. Was it easy for you to get behind a microphone? I mean, you've got a great voice for it, so I imagine you probably done some speaking at least before.
So that's actually the funny part. Before streaming, I had no like public type of thing, like no sort of like podcast or anything like that. Like I was very much I could almost say recluse. I didn't really go out and talk to a lot of people and stuff like that. I have a hard time reaching out. But if somebody reaches to me, it's like, okay, cool. Here, let me pull you by your hand and I'm just going to show you all this stuff. And I've worked in retail so long, and I've had so many people go, "You look great, and you have a voice for radio and everything." And I'm just like, I believe you. I don't hear it, but I believe you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just make sure you don't have a pocketbook for radio if you're going to do it, because there ain't no money.
Yeah,
that's the big problems these days. But no, really, it does. I'm really surprised. But maybe just personality and such. I guess if you're not, haven't been particularly outgoing, that sort of thing, you wouldn't get up and do speeches or that type of thing. But you definitely do.
Oh no, I used to hate public speaking as a kid.
Yeah,
like it's one thing to speak to a bunch of people that is directly in front of you that you may not necessarily like. It's another thing to have friends, and then it's another thing entirely to have a faceless crowd per se.
Right. Oh yeah, that's what radio was about. And for me, I couldn't. There were times, because I was doing some pre and post game work for a major college sports team, and there were occasions that we would have, I know, a couple of thousand people listening. I didn't mind that, but you put me in a room of 10 people, I minded that.
Yeah. That's actually something really funny too, because I always try to keep this in mind, where somebody pointed out, somebody will say, "Oh, you only got 50 people. That's not much." And then I heard someone say once, "Put 50 people in a room, and then you tell me that's not a lot of people." And I thought about it, and I'm like, "Oh God,
yeah,
you're actually kind of right." Like, that may not seem like a lot to a lot of people, but if you were to put those people directly in front of you, you go, "Oh, that's a crowd."
Yeah,
that's a crowd.
That's 2 baseball teams. That's 1 football team, basically. That's a lot of people.
That's essentially 2 classrooms nowadays.
Oh yeah. Well, sometimes even just 1. Depending on
in some cases,
where you're at. But the that concept gets kind of tossed out the window, don't you think, when you're able to use a model and you have a little bit more of a shield anyway from that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's generally why a lot of people, I think, want to do VTubing in the first place. There's a little bit of anonymity, a little bit of maybe be yourself, but people can't connect it to you, I guess.
Right.
Because I know some of my friends know I stream. I've showed them my model and stuff like that. I don't really see them in my streams, I don't believe, but they know that. And if they came in, they would still just see me, and it's like, okay. But they also know that, that's just who I am online with this.
Yeah. It's I compared it to radio in the past, where you didn't see the faces of the disc jockeys back in the day. But you could hear the songs they were playing on several different stations in the same market. Like if somebody was going to watch somebody play Minecraft, I mean, it's probably 1,000 people right now playing Minecraft on Twitch. If you really want to.
Questioning, but I'm actually wondering how many people are on that right this moment.
Yeah, well, I'm just a wild guess, but they come back for the personality of the person doing the games.
Yeah. exactly.
And that's the thing. You hook them in once, and then you try to keep them. It's a little bit like that, and plus you have the faceless part for radio people, and you can put on your own the face you want to present online.
Yeah.
And I think that makes a difference for a lot of people. I also
probably gives some people a good confidence boost when they present themselves how they feel they see themselves.
Oh yeah,
rather than how they actually are.
Yeah, or
because I know my model definitely doesn't look like me in some cases. There's some traits on there that fit.
Yeah,
like the longer hair and stuff like that. I got pretty long hair.
Yeah,
but like, yeah, it's how I like to present myself with that. When I look at that and I go, that feels more me than I do in some cases.
That's another thing too, is that people get a chance to present, in some cases, the ideal that they want to be. Online, which is, I imagine, a double-edged sword sometimes, because you also have to kind of live up to that while you're online.
For me, that living up to that, if you're presenting your ideal self and you're just being yourself with it,
mm-hmm.
I think it's a little easier, because for me, I don't really try to play a character too much. I got some stuff lined up for, like, if people ask, like, well, what about this, or what about the character?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I ask for specifics, like, are you speaking about me as the person or me as the character? Because when they ask about the character, I sometimes have an answer already lined up for you.
Yeah.
But if you ask about me, sometimes it's just simple.
Yeah. Yeah. and some people, I imagine, have separated themselves with that so much that they really need to keep track. Because some people do have a very, very much an online personality that they get into, and whatever floats your boat, it's
you can be both.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot like going from high school to college, where you're the same person at 19 that you were at 18 for the most part, other than biology and stuff like that. But you get the chance to present yourself to a whole different audience that doesn't know your past, that hasn't seen you in school for the last 12 years, that doesn't know exactly what you did in Mrs. Jones' third grade class way back when, to keep reminding you.
Damn, that's a perspective I haven't thought of, and now I am.
Yeah.
You got a point.
Yeah, it's a whole, what they call it, tabula rasa, or whatever it is, clean slate. I probably pronounced that incorrectly. But it really, you get to set your universe up for everybody else to be a part of. And if folks don't like it, they can go to another universe.
Yeah, that's important too. Is always like, you're allowed to dislike something, just don't hate on the one, like, that's there.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's no reason to throw dirt in somebody's Cheerios. It's just if you don't, if it's not your taste, just
find your taste.
Go find your taste. Yeah, it's change the channel. You don't have to.
There's enough channels now. Just change it. You'll find something eventually.
Yeah, if you are if you have any love of any type of entertainment, you will find something on Twitch. That'll keep you going. Whether it's people singing, whether it's people crafting, whether it's people cooking,
building a game.
Yeah. It's
doing challenge runs in their games.
Oh yeah, or just being nut jobs.
Yeah,
which is fine too. Which is it's perfectly fine. And it's become for a lot of folks that it is their entertainment now, for the most part.
I know it is for me. Like, I used to have TV and I would watch things on it. That's completely out of my household now. I'm just like, no, there's no point.
Yeah. But we had a TV with one of those boxes that you can buy, jailbroke.
Yeah. All right.
So we were enjoying a lot of different television and other types of programming that were perfectly legal to watch at the time. In case somebody's out there, writing this down. But one of our cats broke the TV, so that was that. And Yeah, my wife put on one of those cat videos, as we have lots of cats, and because they,
Okay.
they they were bothering her, and one of the bugs on the screen flew off the top, which meant one of the cats had to go after it, and the TV goes down, and Eric was not happy. but
Yeah, no,
even
I didn't.
but you combine that with like YouTube and I don't know, some of these other things you can get online, and you're pretty. If you don't have something to entertain yourself, you're pretty picky.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, and the chance for people to show their talents or to try to show their talents anyway is so massive, and the audience is potentially huge too. Um,
Yeah.
and I just think there's going to be more people doing it than less in the future. People say, "Oh yeah, it's peaked." Oh, I don't know about that. There's
No, I don't think there's a peak. I think there's a plateau for certain things,
mhm.
but that just means maybe you shouldn't go into that specific area. Maybe you should go to the next one.
Yeah, too many people are still innovating with what's
Yeah,
going on.
exactly too. It's like do what you like, but do try to find something that you like that might be unique. Because one of the things that I notice is I don't see a particularly lot of people doing video editing live.
Hmm.
I know that there are some people who have been interested in it. Myself, I was as well.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things. It's like, where do you start?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
How do you do it? What does it look like when you're doing it and
Mm,
stuff like that?
yeah,
I've
and
edited a few of my own shorts slash videos on stream, and I've get some people asking questions and stuff like that. Not very often, but they do, and I just go, "Well, yeah, let's just do it. This is how I do it. I know there's multiple ways, and I know my way may not be the best way,
mm,
but here's how I do it."
oh yeah, yeah. It, you
And
know,
I don't really see other people doing video editing, so I was like, maybe that's a niche I can fit into sometime.
oh, I think so, and that's a helpful one for a lot of people because that's what holds them back from doing other medium. Um,
Yes.
you're putting something on YouTube or TikTok, whatever they decide to do it, because they just first of all they don't have anybody else to do it for them, and they don't know how in the first place. Now I stick with this show. It's all for me basically audio, so it's very
Yeah.
easy. It's kind of like breathing to me at this point to edit audio after 35 plus years. Um, but back in when I started in college back in the day, video editing was on 1.5 inch tape. Uh,
Oh,
yeah, there wasn't any internet to do it on. There was just lots of scissors and razors and actual adhesives to put this together for the
yeah.
most part, and that was a lot different than now. So,
Oh, yeah.
mm, uh, you want a little effect? Well, you better have the $5,000 device that does that. Otherwise, it ain't happening. You're not gonna home.
Yeah,
Not gonna,
yeah. It's someone who's looked into that type of stuff since he was a kid, just kind of like all the different movie effects and stuff like that. It's astounding how far we've come in such a short amount of time.
oh yeah, and plus, when you look at what they were able to do with the limited technology they had,
Yeah.
some of these old movies, especially, I forget which one it was. I used to have it by memory, but there's one film. Um, I think I'm pretty sure it's a European film, which narrows it down to 6 million billion. Um, where they do a this what would be an almost impossible for the time dolly shot from it goes completely up a street and up in one take all the way up, all the way down the street, and the film keeps going up and further. So they had to construct some type of Rube Goldberg device to do this without showing the wires and everything going back. And and nowadays you're like, oh, they just got a crane and did it or a drone. No, they had to.
Yeah.
I mean, they're MacGyvering it all
Back
the
then
way.
Yeah, back then there was a physical setup that needed to be made to make it work.
Yeah, and one mess up, we start over.
Yep. Then you got to take the week of effort and reset it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
It makes me think, actually, because it's been the topic of a lot of topic lately, the new Dune game and stuff like that. I hear some people talking about the old, like, I think it was 1970s movie or something like that.
Oh, it was, I think right about 1980, a little after 1980.
But yeah, the movie itself, they went and drew effects onto the film.
Uh-huh.
Because that's how they did the special effects for their like force fields in that movie. Was they took the film and they rotoscoped it onto the film.
Right. Yeah. It for the time, I mean, pretty awesome for the time.
Oh, amazing.
But now you look at it and like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it and you go, "Wow, they had to do that." And you look at them and it's like, "Yes."
Yeah, that's the way they. It's like, I had a Commodore 64 when I was a kid. I my first paycheck, I got a Commodore 64, and I'm like, nowadays, like, oh yeah, Commodore 64, I got more power in my ring. Yeah, you do, but at the time, boy, that was
at the time.
You're cooking with gas at the time when that came out, and that's something I think we might have lost a little bit in the process. We still have a lot of the awe of technology that we're getting these days, but that is replaced very quickly.
A lot less of the appreciation.
Yeah, when Windows is updating every 5 seconds, I don't want Windows 32. I'm still on 10.
We don't want the new stuff. The old stuff works. Yes, stop it.
That's it. You can't use it ever again. And that type of stuff, it's especially for us old timers, it's tough to keep up. We just let it slide. But the fact that you were looking into it when you were younger, and even just in that period of time, I imagine it's changed a great deal, the editing.
Oh God, it's honestly one of those things where it's like you look at what it was, then you look at what it is, and you go, how did they do it in the past? And it's like pure determination in some cases.
Yeah. And people don't realize when you hear the phrase cutting room floor, that's exactly what it was. They cut film and threw it on the floor. You edited it out. That's where you did the editing part of it.
Yep.
These days, of course, it's physically easier, but depending on the program you use, I can imagine mentally tougher. Was it easy for you to get the programming that you needed to get this stuff done?
Once I found out about it, yes, because I'll actually just say it this right now. There's a program called DaVinci Resolve.
Uh-huh.
It is a free product, actually. You don't get all of the features of it, and it costs, I think it might be a monthly thing now, but I got it back when it wasn't.
Yeah.
A $300 purchase for it to get the full thing.
Yeah.
And then that's it. Then you have the program. There was a time period where I was editing some videos for a friend before a bunch of stuff hit the fan and I couldn't do it reliably.
Yeah.
And one of the paychecks they essentially gave me every month was like a good $300-$400 per month. I took one of those and I said it goes right into the DaVinci Resolve.
There you go.
And now I have it.
Yeah. And that's when you get a program you really like, you just want to covet it.
Oh yeah, and it's one of those things where sometimes the first one you find may not be the best, but because you've used it so much, you are much better than people with the better one in some cases.
Oh yeah, I mean,
because just like all the other artists and stuff like that, it's a skill. It's not something you just pick up and it's like you're good.
Yeah.
No, you have to put the time into it, and I haven't put a whole lot of time into it, but I've been picking it up pretty dang quick lately, and I've been enjoying that.
Oh yeah, and the more you learn, you learn more by doing it. And
oh yeah,
what does this button do? Oh well, it does this. That's pretty cool. The old Dexter's Laboratory thing. What does this button do?
Oh yeah, I've definitely had that where I'm just like, how do I do this? Looks up.
Yeah.
Wait, that's how it goes back, hits the one button and everything happens, and you're
Yes.
just like, well, now I need to remember that.
Wow, that made it much easier.
Yup.
It took 2 hours off my time. What we
That is how it is too. I'm
Yeah.
not even lying. I've spent so the average like amount of time it takes to edit 1 minute is about an hour.
Mm, yeah.
That's the average. It takes 1 hour to edit 1 minute, and that is a pretty good conversion. And the
Yeah.
first time I would do it, I wouldn't have a whole lot of effects, and it would take me an hour to do it. Now I have a library, thanks to my significant other, finding a like resource folder that somebody put up that was a video editor. I have this whole folder now full of
Cool.
stuff, so I can use that.
Excellent.
And that made that easier, but it's not a comprehensive one, so I'm like needing to go and pick things out to use, which I haven't really done lately. I've just been using what I have.
Right.
But eventually I need to go online and be like, hey, you know this joke that's very current? I need to find the soundbite for that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the thing. And it plus two these days you have to watch out for like copyright things. Which
Yeah, that as well.
yeah.
Well, kind of also depends on it too. If you're doing it just for fun and you're not making money, you don't got to worry about it, thankfully.
Yeah. Well, I'm certainly not
If
making
you're
any money.
Yeah, it's just if you're trying to monetize stuff, that's when you really got to go, okay,
Yeah.
what can I and not use?
Yeah. Yeah. You have to tap dance every once in a while. Like in radio, we
Yep.
used to have the ASCAP and BMI things, when they still do, I imagine. But we had to pay a monthly fee just to be able to use music. And we were a
Yeah.
news talk station, so we couldn't even use the little bumper music out of these songs unless we paid monthly, a great deal of money to these folks. Um,
Yeah.
but artists got to get money, one way or another, and
Yeah.
I don't see how other way to do it. Uh, I'm glad there's not the paperwork there used to be because that was such a pain in the butt.
Oh, that sounds like a nightmare.
And it was. There was so much paperwork involved in that stuff. These days, when you get a program that would just plain works, like I'm recording on Audacity,
Yeah.
it doesn't cost anything at the moment. It's a lot like what I used to use in radio, and I don't put in a lot of bells and whistles and lots of effects. I just edit it and put it on. I don't have a lot of video. I have a thumbnail that I use, because I was a radio guy, and video and I don't mix.
And sometimes it's better to be simple.
Oh yeah,
Sometimes it's just better to be simple than it is to have all the bells and whistles. Sometimes it's good to just be like, this is the picture you get to look at.
yeah,
This is the topic we're talking about.
hmm
Now listen to what we are saying.
yeah, 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 and that's that brings a kind of full circle back to when we were talking about having that avatar out in front of you. Even though you can have an avatar that is visually appealing, you still have to
Have a personality
yeah,
behind it.
yeah, you have to work to keep those people there, be engaging and be interesting. Uh, and if you're having a bad day, they're gonna know it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Like
especially
I've straight up mentioned sometimes some days when I do go to stream, I didn't particularly have a good day. Sometimes it makes me really quiet. Other days it's a little bit of a rant. And some days it just doesn't bother it at all.
some days it's just better to put up something you can blow things up on and just go just
Yep.
let her
Because I think there
fly.
was I think there was a stream one day where it was like I was going to play something a little bit, I don't even remember, a little bit more like I want to say stressful. I
Yeah,
think it might have been like back when I was doing the XCOM playthrough.
yeah.
That game's notoriously hard. I didn't want anything to do with that day. I said I'm going to go into Space Marine and I'm going to shoot some Tyranids. I That was a fun stream because of it.
Yeah, yeah. Is there a comfort game for you?
It's hard to say that because I bounce games a lot.
Mm-hmm.
My current fixation is Space Marine 2. I've been doing a lot of like grinding in that offline because its gameplay loop is incredibly enjoyable, to say the least.
Yeah.
Because if you put it on the lowest difficulty, you're probably not going to enjoy it. There's not a lot happening.
Right.
But I always play on the third hardest or the hardest before you start getting into the extra ones right now. But that's only because I've been trying to get all of the stuff for it. Once I have all of that, I'm going to keep pushing it further because I've beaten one of the harder difficulties once. That was a challenge and I loved it. I have had so many moments in that game where I am the last person standing. I am literally fighting an army around me.
Yeah.
And I can just hear, I need a hero in the background as I'm fighting 20 different enemies at the exact same time with no backup whatsoever. And I'm just like, I really, really need to make sure I get something like that recorded eventually because I really want to edit that over it.
Yes.
Just to have that going the whole time as you're just watching everything go to, pardon my language, everything go to shit. And you're just like, oh God.
Explosions and bodies flying everywhere.
Quite literally that happens.
It's funny. And you bring that song up because it brings, when I was doing the radio DJ bit in college, that was one of the songs we were playing on the 45 RPM discs, and that song was produced by the same person who did most of Meatloaf's songs, Barry Manilow's more vivid songs, and Air Supply. So it had that bombast and everything, and all those songs together.
Yeah,
it's the same guy. So if he started now, he would be doing nothing but video game music.
Probably. And you know what the funniest thing is? It'd probably be indie games too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because those are the ones that get all the like. Nowadays, they're the ones where if you want to find something interesting, go look at indie games.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're the ones who actually make stuff that is interesting.
Well, they don't have to run it past corporate, do they?
Like, exactly. They don't have to be safe.
Mm-hmm.
They get to choose what they want to do, and they get to go, I'm going to make it happen anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I like following a streamer named Pirate Software, builds games, was in the game industry.
Yeah.
He most recently did a game called Particle Hearts. And the entire thing is done with particles, which in a corporate standpoint is like, why would you do that? That's insane. Meanwhile, the three people who are making it, because I think it's only three people who are making the game, are like, yeah, let's do this.
Yeah.
And it looks amazing. Like, you look at all of the big companies and you go, they'll never do something like that. You look at these guys and like, these guys are geniuses.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And when you get a chance to see somebody's vision come together like that, and
oh yeah,
and it's not only that, but it's enjoyable, and you can tell they put a lot of work and love and care into it.
You can feel the passion, and when you feel that passion, you go, oh, this is a good game because of it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, far removed from that in ways, I guess it's like a Stardew Valley where you can, I mean, you just sit in there and I could play and I have played for hours and hours and hours and hours in that game. But
Same. I think I've got like, I want to say like 200, 300 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've never beaten it.
Oh, I've got 30 save files.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's just, people think that's not true, but it is absolutely true. I started playing.
Oh, I can believe it.
I started playing it when you couldn't even marry all the people you could marry now, but that's a labor of love right there. You can tell from the start to finish.
Yeah.
And a lot of these games, like you mentioned Binding of Isaac. I mean, for crying out loud.
Yeah, that one's been going on for so long.
Yeah, and
And it's still got people playing it to this day. Like, yeah, no, I love this game. I've never gotten into it, but I've got a buddy who just like randomly is like, I just want a comfort game, pulls out Binding of Isaac and starts playing it. And I'm like, I never understood the joy of that game. However, you enjoy it so much, and I could just see from the way you play.
Yeah, absolutely. And that happens with streams too. You watch somebody who's streaming, and you notice the joy that they have in it, and the love that they have for it, and the fun they have interacting with people, and the audience picks up on it. And when you're talking to somebody in a one-on-one situation, if you're not interested in what the other person is saying, and you don't show that, no one else is going to be interested either. Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, you've got to put yourself into it, and once you put into it, then you have a much better chance of getting out of it what you want. Of course, there's other things involved, like meteorites and stuff, but internet crashing out in the middle of everything, that sort of thing. But it sounds like to me that you're just kind of you're kind of in a holding pattern, waiting for those right vectors to hit at the exact point. And as soon as that happens,
ideally,
you're go.
Yeah. It's one of those things of once I'm able to commit enough to it, then I feel like it will start working.
I think it will.
Like, I feel like it's there. I just feel like I don't have the means, as is what a lot of it is with some people. It's just
that's got to be frustrating, though. To know that. Because it's pretty obvious to me how much you enjoy it, and it's also pretty obvious to me that I think you do, that if you were able to put that much time into it, that it would go extremely well.
I feel like, yeah, I mean, it's not one of those things where I'm expecting like instant meteoric rise or anything like that. No, that's every single person who's successful is like, oh, it's just hard work. No, it's hard work and a little bit of luck. Mm-hmm. You got to hit the spark in the right spot. And once you do, then you might take off.
Yeah.
But sometimes that's what you're hoping for, is that one bit to just be like, oh, by the way, suddenly you go from 5 to 50 and you're just like, oh, that was amazing. And then next thing you know, it's 100 and you're just, I don't know what's happening anymore. Yes. It's just going.
And then you have the breakdown, and then you go from there.
That feels like it would be a part of it. It's like, oh God, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Oh no. And then you come back and you're like, no, I'm fine now. I'm fine. Let's go.
Matt, it's an absolute pleasure talking with you. And I again, it's just going to be, to me, I say, it's just going to be a matter of your circumstance when it happens. Because I mean, you're just a joy to talk with, and very easy to talk with, and it's obvious you're enjoying what you're doing and really want to do it. And so we're going to keep an eye on you. You keep in touch with us, and when you get that thing going and you get some big broadcasts coming up, we'll promote it for you.
I'll try to remember that.
Thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah, this is fun. This is fun. I have not done one of these before, so this was very interesting and fun to do.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.